It's always a first.
Yeah.
Someone needs to.
Welcome to our successful agents and investors nationwide. Today is Thursday, November 7th, 2024, and this is All the Leads Mastermind podcast number 503. Well on our way to number 1,000. I've got nothing to open with this week, Tim.
I thought you were going to deliver your political speech.
I was going to deliver my acceptance speech, but I didn't win.
Good
I wrote
choice,
you
Bert.
in, Jim. I wrote
You
you
wrote me
in.
in. Good.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate you and nobody else.
Does that mean he actually had a shot at being the dog catcher in Wake County? That's great, Bruce. No agenda today, guys. We're literally here to help. I'm sure that if you've been on there before, all we ask is that when you have a question and you want to talk about a win, a loss, a challenge, an observation, or anything you want to talk about, we're here for the hour and we're here to help you. We gather our best coaches, Jim and I, and people from the company to take your questions, and we're here to help. So hit the reactions button at the bottom and raise your hand, or if it says raise your hand, depending on what your Zoom client looks like, either of those will work. We look to see your hands in the air. Only thing I would just say is that a lot of people have been, anxiously awaited yesterday to see how it would go. My delight is that it got over quickly and it's not dragging out the way that it did previously, and we kind of know where things are, and it's time to move forward. So whatever your politics are, whatever they are, any last excuse you had for wait and see is over. It's time to go back to work. And I think a lot of people literally were sort of, because of the business that we're in, we talk to a lot of people every day. And I think a lot of people were somewhat poised, sort of awaiting whatever was going to happen. And your customers are likely in the same boat. So time to take action and get rocking and rolling. And we're here to help. So with that, I will say, please raise your hand and let's hear from you. And otherwise, I'm going to start chatting a little bit with the coaches and some of the smiling faces I see here. Anybody got a question or an observation?
I know Bruce had mastery yesterday. Bruce, any new inspirations or anything to report from?
Yeah, I didn't
that?
have mastery yesterday.
Good job,
I
Jim. Good
led
job.
a role play call yesterday. That might have been what it was
I
that you
got two
saw.
notices from you. I thought that was mastery.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of which, we are going to be doing a special live foundations next week. So if you guys are not currently if you've not currently taken Probate Mastery and you're looking for kind of an introductory probate course, a couple hours long, I want you guys to go into your All the Leads portal, go to training, and click on Probate Foundations and sign up for that. We're doing it live next week on Wednesday at 12:30. If you've already taken Foundations or you've taken Probate Mastery, you have more information in Mastery. So I don't want everyone running to just take another class because there's another class. But if you're looking for some good introductory baby steps into the probate space, we're going to be hosting that on Wednesday at 12:30 Eastern time. For those of you on the East Coast, 9:30 on the West Coast. And you're not invited if you're anywhere else. I'm just kidding. All right. So, but not mastery, not mastery yesterday, Jim.
All right. Well, close enough. You had an event. I'm sure it was great. Thank you.
All right, everybody gotten quiet. You want me to call Bernie up?
Please.
Broker Bernie.
I'll call Bernie up. Bernie, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yeah, just a quick report. I got my first listing via the mailing process. It went to an out-of-state mom whose son was murdered here, and it's a lot with a mobile home on it. So it's a lot of work. It's not the listing I would choose, but I was just excited to report that it's my first success after working with you at All the Leads and with Bruce on the coaching. So I'm excited.
Good
Well, that's
job, man.
awesome, Bernie. Good job. Good job. Good sticking to it. Good putting your plan together and following it. I've watched Bernie diligently grind away, implementing practices. Bernie, I know you still have other things to implement, but you've been implementing all along the way, showing up and not just showing up and listening, but showing up and taking action. So good job. This
Well,
is the
one more
first of
little
many.
thing that I've learned from you, Bruce, is that the door knocking and how to do it, I've instead of leaving a door hanger, which, highlights what I do, I put the note on, see, please give me a call, my name and my number, and that's been working. I did knock on a door where the woman today is getting her approval or probable approval at the court to be named as the personal representative, and I'm delivering a package to her this afternoon, again, based on your great guidance. So there's another potential there by following what I've learned.
That's Bernie.
Excellent.
Again, thank you for implementing.
Hey, Bernie, I'm curious. This was a out-of-state owner or an out-of-state PR that was obviously in a terrible situation. Did you have any competition on that, or was the letter just come get me?
Well, she got my mailings, and that I doubt that she didn't answer because her phone number actually isn't on the list. So the attempted calls didn't work. So the mailing is what got her to say, "Hey, I've got a situation. Can you help me?" So it was perfect.
Great, good job. It's important you do everything. Some people, just call, don't mail. Some mail, don't call. It's that 1-2 approach of doing both that long term is the most effective. So great job. Thank you. I think you're in first place for our winner of the week.
Hey, Winston asked a quick question here. He wanted to ask if Bernie could expand a little bit on your door knocking. Can you talk a little bit about what you're doing there, Bernie? Are you literally going door to door in the neighborhood based around a listing that might come available? Are you farming an area? How's that working?
Well, it's based on the leads, and I have 2 counties, and I divide them into sections. So in Marin, I have the Southern Marin, which I do on one Saturday or Sunday. I do the Northern Marin on another Saturday or Sunday. I do Southern Sonoma County on Saturday and Sunday, and I do Northern Sonoma on others. So over 4 weeks, I do both the probates and the pre-probates that have shown up. And my first knock is always on the address of the decedent. But then I also include addresses of the PR and knock on those. And then I go on the PP relatives if they're in my area. So I have my priority, but I've been taking sort of the past leads that I've accumulated and work them first. And coming forward as new leads come in, I'll be there early on the others. And so for me, door knocking is a lot easier than calling. And I found that on the weekend, at least half the people are at the door. They answer the door.
Wow.
Most of them are willing to talk.
Well, that's great, man.
Yeah.
So it's not cold calling. It's based on the leads that I get from you.
Mhm.
Hey, Winston, raise your hand there, buddy. Can you? I'm having a problem getting somebody. Ask Winston to unmute.
I got him.
Okay.
Hi, guys, I'm here.
So what were you going to ask him, buddy?
I just wanted to hear more about this. I've just relocated from Southern California to Northern Alabama. I'm in Madison County, Huntsville area. I've got to get my program back going again. I would love to hear more about how he starts his conversation, what the, I don't want to say the script, but what the flow normally is. Just a short and sweet breakdown would be great.
Yeah, I mean, when it's either pre-probate, I start with, I'm so sorry you had a loss in your family recently, and I just want to let you know that I offer a lot of help through various services. So I don't lead with real estate at all. I lead with the idea that I'm here to help with what can I do. And so I ask some questions, and sometimes I get the, oh, we're not selling or whatever, but I de-emphasize the real estate. This is with the help of Bruce's coaching and what All the Leads puts forward as the passionate kind of approach that has worked. and they turn it into real estate very often, or they say about I have an attorney, and I say, yeah, that's great. And I'm glad you have an attorney. That's a good first step. But, there's a lot of things that an attorney won't do. And, I'm sure you have a lot of things to consider. And so I don't drag it out, but I leave it. And then the next day, I send a little postcard that I had developed through All the Leads, and it's blank on the backside. And I write a little note. I say, thanks for taking time to chat with me on Saturday. And I just want to let you know that if there's anything I can do for you, please don't hesitate to call. And so now I feel I've got a warm lead that I can market to on a regular basis.
Great.
Awesome.
Bernie,
Thanks.
after that
Any follow-ups?
interaction, yeah, go. I was going to ask the same question. Go ahead. I was going to say, after that, do you follow up with a phone call, or do you go back and knock again?
Well, I haven't gone back to the phone call, but I am planning to have a drip campaign that is outside of the All the Leads campaign. It's more personalized, and I will call if I get any idea that I think really relates to them. So I want my follow-up to very, very personalized, whereas my cold calling campaign is generalized,
Your cold mailing campaign.
cold mailing campaign is
Yep.
generalized. But I don't really rely on calling. And if I can get their email at the door, I'll do it. And if not, I'll just keep warm mailing or dropping off. And the idea of wowing them so you get remembered comes from Bruce's coaching, where the next thing I send them is a package, or I'll drop it off at the door actually, and if they're there, that has more things than just the postcards and the letter that is part of my cold mailing, but includes a brochure that I've created that helps with, here's listing options I offer. The checklist is something I make part of the cold mailing, but I also make sure they get a checklist, and I have a vendor list. And so I kind of package something that sort of is to make sure that I'm remembered. So as Bruce calls it, being memorable, that's important because other people obviously are reaching them. So one of the places I hit up on was a fixer, and I left a note at the door, no response. I have the phone number in Florida of the personal representative, but he didn't answer, but his sister did. So I asked her, how can I get in touch with him? And she gave me his email. I asked for his phone number, but she wouldn't give me that to me. She gave me an email. So I emailed him. But I've already got some investors who I told about the property who are ready to go on it, but I need to get permission to go inside. And I don't have that yet, but I like the idea of personalizing each property based on what I see.
I think the great thing about this is that you've got you're touching these people in a lot of ways, and I think one big message everybody ought to get from this is that he's started with something that was relatively straightforward and easy to implement, and used our help to get some of that done, and now he's making it his own with other programs that he's working. And I would call what you're doing relentless. You're literally getting after it. And, kudos for doing that, man. You've been on our calls for, forever. And you've always got a lot of questions and great questions. And now I see that you're, turning those around and implementing them into success. That's great. I couldn't ask for more than that. Really good. Congrats.
Thank you. Getting my first listing is a validation that I'm on a good track.
You betcha, bud. You betcha.
And
Thank
I appreciate you guys being so supportive all the way around.
Well, back at you.
I just want to add something, Winston, to what you were saying regarding being in a new neighborhood, a new area. And Bernie was mentioning about door knocking in relation to the probate and all the leads and the leads that he has. But I also think that I know when I moved into a new area, I actually started also doing door knocking at the beginning. And I think it's a wonderful way to meet people in the neighborhood being able to be face to face. And that could be part of your intro by saying, this is what I do and I'm new in the area and I'm here meeting neighbors, and targeting the leads that you have and then even expanding upon that. So blocking a small, maybe 5 leads a day if they're in the same area, however you do it, but getting out there and on the pavement and door knocking, I think it's going to really help you in feeling, that you're getting to know your neighborhood. You're really getting to know your area well.
Yeah, and my area is actually quite large. So by bringing it into chunks and then organizing how I do it, I'm able, and I usually do between 10 and 4 on a Saturday or a Sunday. I can do 11 or 12, and only one of them usually is angry and says, don't come back. But most of them are, well, a few aren't home, and then the note often gets a response to call me, and I prefer when somebody's calling me. One time they said, well, I don't want you to come around. I said, I've left a couple of notes today. Could you tell me what the address is? And one woman says, well, you need to get your act together and figure out where you left it. I said, well, I can't leave you alone if I don't know how to take you off my list.
Yeah.
So then she finally told me what street she was on, and that helped. So anyway, it's gratifying to me. I like talking to people. I like, even if it doesn't lead to any business, it's gratifying just to have an exchange with another human being.
Hey, Bernie, did you say if there's nobody there, you'd leave kind of a generic note behind? Just sorry I missed you. Do you tell them who you are and why you were there?
Well, no, I don't. Actually, I started with door hangers that I got from you that kind of explained myself, and I was proud of that. But Bruce suggested a different approach, which is just a Post-it note, and I write by hand. I say, hey, would the owner of this property or who's in control of this property, please give me a call, Bernie Steffen, and my phone number. So it creates the curiosity about what are you calling about? And that has generated many more calls back than a door.
One of the reasons I asked, Bernie, we had a client years ago that he had a sticker designed to look like one of the UPS stickers they leave on the door if you missed a package delivery. And all it said, it looked very similar to it. He put it on the door and say, sorry, we missed you, give us a call. And people would call back and think they were, I don't even know if UPS still does that anymore, but it's the same principle. That's really smart. You create curiosity.
I don't have a great handwriting, but it doesn't matter. It looks like someone very personal. It's not mass produced. And again, I'm really grateful to Bruce and the coaching that has helped me implement these modifications to how I approach this.
Good deal, bud. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I think Patty had her hand up.
Yeah.
Hey guys. Hey, thanks for letting me ask my question. I've been really enjoying these calls. I just had our 2nd month of leads sent to us, and we've had all our mailings have gone out. And Tuesday, when I went down to the courthouse, I'm an auctioneer as well. When I went down for Super Tuesday, I was able to go meet our probate clerk that I'd been talking to a couple times and kind of find out a little bit more of our local process here. I just moved from South Atlanta area down to Macon, so it's kind of a new area for me altogether. But my question was, she had said that the only time that the courtroom is open to the public is when it's contested, when it's a contested probate issue. And so I, talked to her about, letting me know when those are and stuff like that. I don't know if it was Bruce or if it was one of the other coaches that had suggested it'd be good to go and, sit in the hearings as well. Would it, in that situation, would it be also good to go if it's a contested situation? I was kind of thinking maybe even better if, people are fighting about it, but.
Sure. I think it's always a good idea to sit in any open hearing. Always a good idea. It's interesting that it's not that the regular hearings aren't open. Not every county or state runs the same, but 90% of the country has open hearings. I would go to those. I have no idea what they're going to be like. So out of curiosity, I would go, and you might find a really good avenue of picking up business that way. Also, highly important that you go to those if you want to meet attorneys, because if attorneys can start to see you in those hearings, you're going to have an in, especially if you begin to be seen publicly around them.
Patty, I'd also want to suggest this. Do you have a relationship at all with any of the attorneys in your area yet?
Yeah, we already have on our website, we have about 6 attorneys that deal with elder law and probate issues and stuff. And we have a referral PDF on our website with those attorneys. So we're, not as far as them, giving me business or anything, but I have contacted them, asked them if we could put them on this list. And, they know that we're going to be, getting their information out to some of our clients. So
Great. So here's what I was going to suggest. Given that your court is not letting the public randomly come to hearings if it's not contested, what you might want to do is talk to one or more of them and say, I would like to sit in, and they may be able to allow you to join them in court in what's called an of counsel. Because you're in a related industry and there might be real estate involved, they might let you just sit in. And it's worth a question to those attorneys, if you want to do that, to see if you could go to a normal hearing.
great suggestion. Yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you.
Okay. It's worth a shot. They may say no, they won't let us do that either. But I mean, it's typically, they're typically not hiding that. I think it's probably just looking at it from a privacy standpoint. Is that the only probate court in Macon?
It is. It's our only county one. We do have 5 other touching counties right around us. So I'm going to go to those ones as well. But I'm getting the leads right now for our, Macon Bibb County, not any of the other counties yet.
I'm just saying, I think, Bruce's suggestion, and always our suggestion, is at least watching the give and take that's going on is important. And you need to be able to have the opportunity, potentially to do that. And that may be a way to get in the door, or like you said, go to another jurisdiction and see what's going on there. It is unusual, by the way, that they're not letting people in on that, but I think it's probably an overabundance of trying to maintain privacy. Maybe, I don't know. Hard to say.
I kind of saw on their website, it transitioned during COVID, to where it's mainly Zoom hearings. And so I'm kind of thinking that's why, but they said on the website that you could request a link for that, which is why I eventually reached out to our probate clerk. And then she said, no, the only thing that the public is allowed to come to, and maybe she meant, maybe I need to push that a little further. Maybe she meant the only time it's actually in the courtroom, maybe I could get the Zoom link. And I mean, I don't know how effective that would be, but at least for my own knowledge, it would be good.
Sure. Okay.
Thank you.
Keep us posted on how successful you are at getting in. And Bill, I see you raised your hand. Do you have a comment about that?
Yeah, I was gonna say I similarly when I took the training, they mentioned one time to go to court, and I was fascinated what I learned when I was there. And this goes back, almost 6 years. I went once, and then I went every day the rest of the week, and then I said I'll go for the rest of the month. And I ended up building a business in probate by going to court every day. I learned so much. I became valuable when I talked to the families and the attorneys. I did lead generation in the courtroom. Now, I was in LA, which is a much more active court than any other in the country, just in terms of size. But I would really encourage you, Patty, or any agent on this call, to go at least once and see actually what is available, so you can tell your customers what to expect. But I just think it will make you a much better, more valuable agent if you're able to go.
I've got a follow-up question for Bill. What do you expect when you walk into a courtroom for those that have never been? What do you expect?
I've coached a lot of agents on this topic and in your call as well, as you know, Bruce. And I tell them that the first time you go, just think of it as a recon mission. Your job is to go in and figure out what are the resources available and what is experience somebody's going to go who goes there that you can pass on to your customer and or find attorneys. And they're all different. Every court's different. Like I said, I'm in the biggest in the country. We have a huge courthouse with 9 rooms of probate on different floors. And we have, all day long in all 9. And there are other, counties where they have, 1 day a week for a couple hours. In LA, I've listened to coaches talk about meeting the clerk. I think Pat even mentioned, or somebody mentioned meeting a clerk. In some counties, you walk up to them, they say hi, they invite you to sit down with them, they'll walk through the process. In LA, you can barely talk to them through bulletproof glass, and you're definitely the impression that you're wasting their time if you even ask them to help save you from being killed. So, it's different in every place. And I would just say, go and do a recon, check what's on the walls. I found in LA County, they have bulletin boards that had free classes available posted online. And so I don't know the answers I think Patty said she's in Macon, Georgia. Every county is different, but I would definitely urge every agent on this call to go to court and learn, and then also go online and see what the county resources are online and learn that and spend the time and do real research on it. Don't just show up and walk in at 10:30 and say there's nobody here. Get there when it starts and figure out what day they have the hearings and participate.
Hey, Pat, Sheriff Pat, do you have any wisdom to share about that?
Yeah, I want to echo Bill's remarks as well, but I'm out here in Massachusetts and I actually ran the courthouse. I was the clerk magistrate for the probate court for 18 years. And, and like Bill said, every court is different. Every state jurisdiction is different. And even within states, courthouse by courthouse is different. The original question came about contested matters. And, I think somebody may have mentioned the fact that there may have been confusion on like when you get access, and certainly contested hearings for the vast majority of jurisdictions, absent some kind of court order that a session gets closed, all of those sessions generally are open to the public. However, at least in Massachusetts, I can tell you, the vast majority, like way into the 90 percentile of probate matters, are uncontested matters and never make it to court. And a lot of jurisdictions, I know in Massachusetts, we do administrative, not even hearings, but the clerk actually just takes the vast pile of dockets and just administratively allows matters all the time. Some counties in Massachusetts also have what's known as an uncontested session, that some courthouse, and maybe across the country they do it, where a clerk will actually entertain a line of attorneys to get their probate signed off on. Once again, I would echo the training that folks have talked about. Great option to meet clerks, understand the research process. Not everything can be done online, and not everything can be got necessary from a lead list necessary. So being in the courthouse should be a practice for everybody. And meeting the clerks, meeting the attorneys, and it just helps. And I always tell folks when I go out and speak on the topic of probates, get into the courthouse, make it 1 day a week at least, do some research, meet a few people. It only elevates your practice by doing so.
Great, thanks, Bud. I appreciate that a lot. Hey, Rod.
Can I mention something else, Tim, and then I'll unmute or mute myself again? One of the things, even though I didn't get into the courtroom, even just going, since I'm new to the area, I'd never even been in the courthouse before. I'd just done auctions on the stairs, but I'd never been in the courthouse before. And just giving me confidence that whenever I'm talking with, customers or clients, that I can say, I already, when you go in the courthouse, you'll go through the metal detector, you go to the left for probate. I mean, just giving me confidence to kind of understand and be able to talk. If I'm saying that I'm a, probate expert or specialize in probate, I should know something about that process. And so just going there, this week was, super helpful for me, just making me feel like I know a little bit more about the process to be able to help people.
Great. That's phenomenal. That's great. And did we get you all squared away there, Patty? I think we certainly encouraged you more to get a lot of stuff done there. You all good now?
Yes, very good. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Hey, Roger. What's up, bud?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you. Since we've on the topic of attorneys and the like, I've got a couple of things. In Arkansas, and we're a real small subset of LA or some of these much larger markets, and I'm specifically over in Northwest Arkansas. We have a group of attorneys that are really want to be on top of everything that goes. So I have to go and get price approval and the permission to put the property on the market. That has to be a court order. And it's usually done, the attorney does that in office and sends it to the court, and he's already set everything's done. Then we have to get the pricing approved, and we get an offer in, and I'll show them I provide the attorney, if I have multiple offers, whether it's investors and buyers, home buyers, I provide the 2 or 3 offers that I have in front of it, and I make my suggestion on what gives the largest net to the family and to the estate. And then the court will approve after the attorney does that. But what I'm hearing, and what I'm hearing all of that, and I've involved in about 5 or 6 attorneys here in Northwest Arkansas. That keeps me pretty busy keeping up with them, because I also get involved in some of their divorce cases and some of the other matters that have forced property sales. And one case was a foreclosure, and somebody asked me about it, and I said, file bankruptcy. And my family attorney didn't know that a bankruptcy could stop a foreclosure. And so we got involved in that and settled that out and sold the property and got the company, the family out of it. But the other thing that I'm finding, and I'm loving the conversation about going to court. I have not been in the Pulaski County or Benton County probate courts to do that. It is one of my objectives to do that, because I have had just recently a luncheon in an attorney's office sponsored by me. And they have said, yes, we would really like to hear what you're doing with that, and what's going on with real estate, and what's going on with the NAR settlement in real estate. And so I've had my first luncheon. I featured Chick-fil-A, and it's the smaller law firms are better than the bigger ones, and even in the bigger ones, I try to get a head count. And I'll bring in the Chick-fil-A, and that you can't say no to a Chick-fil-A catered lunch, and water with it. But I just basically introduce myself, and we start talking about the status of the market, and what the holding time is, what the inventory levels are at different price points and different markets that we have, and we go through that real quick. That gives them an idea of, number one, what their house is going to be, what their house has done. I do show them in there the process of a broker's price opinion that I provide for most all of my stuff, instead of a CMA, because I'm able to make changes, minute changes on it to affect stuff. But we have such a low inventory right now. It is they go pretty quick up here in Northwest Arkansas. It's just a very low inventory, and and everything sells quick, and we still have multiple offers even under these interest rates. And then I also cover the NAR settlement, and basically that buyers agents and selling agents can't talk about the commission, period. That just, if there's a desire for buyers agents to have some of their commission paid, it has to be on the offer. And that's where we are taking that at this point. I do different, and so I do come into my probate website, my probate flyers and mailers, and introduce that this is the kind of stuff that I'm doing right now, and I'm having a lot of queries and interest, and everybody asks me about, well, why don't you just put it on the market and get it sold? And I said, well, it just depends on how much you want the estate to have, and what's best for the family that's involved. And if there's multiple family members, I'll be glad to come in and try to make a consensus agreement among all of the family. and the attorneys just glum. They just love that conversation to take place outside of their office because it just gets into a lot less tense, and it doesn't have to be a legal process doing that. And I've done that on several different options also.
Hey,
So
Roger, I want to stop you a second. I want to point something out just real quick. You know, we've known you now a very long time. You've been with us since almost the beginning, and you know, over almost a decade. You know, we've watched you mature your approach to this. You know, in the very beginning, and I think that's important to know. I mean, Roger really has this dialed in, and he's got it all, you know, down to a science in terms of how he operates in his marketplace, and he does unique things. And you know, he has made it work for him in a way that matches his personality, his style, and all of that. And I think you should be encouraged that he started out, you know, the same way a lot of you folks did, you know, and, you know, Bernie's on a journey as well. But, you know, Roger's done some pretty unique things and he's had some really unique successes. And the one thing, Roger, I'll applaud you for is that, you know, you're always learning, you're always growing. You come on these calls and, you know, you're a student of the game. And I think that's awesome. You know, you're always learning. Would you agree that's a pretty good way to look at that?
thank you very much. I appreciate the compliment. I am always a learner, and I gotta hand it to Bruce. I've learned a lot even from Bruce, especially with my approach and my language skills. And I love that about Bruce and his approach in doing that. And so I'm really thankful to have Bruce as a resource in what I'm doing. I'd also like, Tim, for you to give me a call if possible sometime later today or tomorrow, whenever it's convenient for you. I'd like to have a visit with you about a couple of things. I would like for you to review my website and some of the stuff that I've got printed,
Sure.
and
Glad
get
to
your
that.
get your input on what I might improve on it. I've also decided that because everybody that has known me the whole time, I hate phone calling. Never have liked it. So I went ahead and popped for Matt's program, and we're getting me onboarded to do that. And it'll be following some of the stuff. And so we're taking a little bit more active approach in what I'm doing. And I've been going through some physical issues and some emotional issues lately, and the next year is going to be a different year. I've made up my mind. My psychiatrist said you need to get back busy, and so I'll be back doing it. And I've kept my subscription up, even though it's been idle for a while. So,
Hey, Roger, I know Alyssa has something to share. Before we get to that, though, Steve wants to know about your pumpkin bread. After the Chick-fil-A, do you have pumpkin bread for dessert?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, my baker is I'm up to about 150 loaves of pumpkin bread for all of the customers that I've ever had. If you will send me your address, and you send me your address, and I'll mail you one so that you guys can have it at the office. If it's two loaves, different places, let me know. I'll be glad to do that. And Bruce, I want your address also.
That sounds like an Oprah show. Pumpkin bread for everybody. Look under your bread.
Everybody look under your chair. There's pumpkin.
Do you remember the pumpkin bread story a couple of years ago where I was the sister was the PR for her sister in Springdale, and we met, and her sister died, and I got the house sold pretty quickly with a sign, and I was doing something, and some guy drove up while I was at the property, and we got a buyer doing it, and so I emptied out the property, cleaned it up, had a couple of repairs that I had to get made for him so that the property would qualify. We got it sold in a very short period of time, and so over the years I had been delivering pumpkin bread to this lady who was the executor for her sister. couple of years ago, I was knocking on her door every year, and I would bring a loaf of pumpkin bread, and she would always thank me. She'd invite me into the house and say, "What can I do to my house to make it worth more?" And I just sit there and I said, "Get rid of the carpet and put plank flooring in. That's number one." And she sat there and she said, "Oh, okay. Do you have people?" And I said, "Yes, I do." I gave her a couple of names, and come back the next year, and she said she looked at plank flooring is in there. And then the next year, I show up, and he said, "Come look at my kitchen and my bathrooms. Is there something that I can do in my kitchen and my bathrooms?" And I said, "Yes, you need to put maybe some granite or a different thing you got Formica on there. Get that. Put some rock stuff and a splash on the back of the kitchen." She did that. I came back the next year. She had done that. Then the next year, she came out and she said, "I have this sunroom off of the back. Is there something that I can do in this?" And I looked at her and I said, "Yes, ma'am. Put a vent from your air conditioning system into it and put some sort of heater out there so that it can be included in the heated and cooled square footage on it. How's your roof doing? We've had some storms." And she said, "Well, I don't know." And I said, I'll send a roofer over to take a look at your roof. But if it may need to be replaced, you need to get it replaced so that you can do that. And if you want to heat this, the bottom line is delivered the following year I knocked on the door to deliver the pumpkin bread to her, and another lady opened the door. And she said, "Well, who are you?" And I said, "Well, I'm Roger, and Lorraine and I have been." She was the executor for her sisters, and then she interrupted me and said, "You're the realtor that brings pumpkin bread every year." And I said, "Yes, ma'am, I am." "Well, you need to come in." I said, "Well, is she here?" And she said, "No, but all of the family is here. And we just came from her funeral to talk about what we were going to do now. You're going to get the house, but you need to come in and meet everybody." And I just sit there and I said, "No, I don't think it's an appropriate time for me, but y'all have some great pumpkin bread. Maybe tomorrow let's visit." I'm not comfortable right after the funeral for doing that with that. It's just not a position that I want to be in with everybody while you're mourning the death of your aunt and sister. Um, that's the way it happens. After a while, you get the second generation out of that stuff, and I'm really blessed to have those kinds of experiences and share them where I can. And Tim, I promise. I went too long. Sorry.
Nah, you've never
I
done
love
I'm
you,
done
buddy.
now.
I love you. Listen, I'm going to ask you to do one thing, and I'm going to mute you so you don't go off again. But I'm going to say one thing. Post your pumpkin bread recipe up here so everybody can have pumpkin bread. Bernie, that would make a much better door knocking tool for you when you go back again. You need to start baking pumpkin bread. Put your recipe up here, bud.
I call it ramjet pumpkin bread.
All right. Well, you gotta give me the recipe.
Okay, I sure will.
All right, I'll give you a buzz. Thank you.
Perfect. Alyssa, you wanted to share something if you would. You asked me to, but you'd be better off sharing it if you don't mind.
Yeah, I just wanted to share a link. I'm going to post it in the chat here. Someone who has done a really good job of putting content out, showing the probate process in their area. It's Courtney Rollins, has been in our circle for a while. I posted the link to one of his specific videos that kind of details the probate process in his area. But on his channel, he's got lots of videos that he's put together, interviewing people in the courthouse, interviewing different service providers in his area that he's kind of offering in his, wheel of probate. So obviously, he spends a lot of time on these videos and putting content out like this, but there's a lot of useful information on there and something that you guys might find helpful or look at, if you're looking to build your own content or just what types of things maybe you would want to learn to be able to offer insights to your own clients, obviously in your own area. So there's just some good inspiration on there. And he does a really good job of detailing the process and actually physically showing it. Like Patty was saying, you know, you walk into the courthouse and you go left, and he shows the buildings, shows the offices, speaks with real people in the area that are part of the process. So I posted the link to one of his videos, but he's got, you know, I think over 100 or almost over 200, I think, different videos. So definitely worth taking a peek over there if you got a minute.
And hey, Alyssa, I'm just going to add, for those of you that don't know Courtney, Courtney is in my market. He lives here with me. He's one of the people that I'm proud to say is a friend and someone that's implemented everything that we teach. We co-work a lot of business as well. I'm a realtor, he's an investor. I've been on the phone with Courtney a number of times, the phone or Zoom a number of times, and his phone has rang. And he said, "Hold on, it's my YouTube phone." And this has happened at least 5 or 6 times that people, while we've been meeting together, coaching, or doing different things together, his YouTube phone is rang off of YouTube videos that he puts out. So it works. It works. And this link, I haven't watched the video that you put up, but it's a great example of someone that implements content into their business.
I think today's a great day of seeing people that are doing what I would refer to as evolution. You know, like I said, we've watched Roger evolve his business, and you know, I'll say this: not only that, I mean, we have evolved our business since we started this a decade ago, and we've evolved it in large part by, you know, watching folks implement the things that we started with and growing new things, and it's built organically. And I think it dawned on me today as I was listening to some of the things that are going on, is that it's that evolution that's making a lot of our most successful people be successful. You know, it isn't all going to happen at once. It's not, you know, this is not a one trick quick pony that we've got here. This is something that people I know when we first talked about the concept of it's a pillar of your business. And you know, we run our company that way. We have different pillars within our company. The different departments, we refer to them as pillars because that's what supports our company.
We are here live. Welcome to the Probate Workshop.
Sound
All
like
right.
Courtney.
All right. Anyway, all I was going to say is that it is a very cool thing to see the evolution happening and to see everybody doing that. And I don't think we could have a clearer depiction of that than some of the things that we've heard today, is that people are taking a piece, they implement that, then they put the next piece on, then they put the next piece on. And over, in Roger's case, a period of almost a decade, he's added onto his business and, you know, built it around his unique style and personality. And I see Bernie doing the same thing. And, you know, I can sense that, you know, Patty's likely to do the same thing. You're taking the pieces that we're talking about and doing that. And I couldn't encourage you more to follow the lead of that. And everybody says nice things about Bruce. I don't particularly care for him myself, but that's a different story. Now, Bruce is an absolutely outstanding teacher, trainer, and a great guy. And, you know, all the accolades that he gets are extremely well versed. I've never met anybody who has a cooler and not glib approach. When people say something, Bruce's response, he takes a second to ponder, and he always comes back with an appropriate answer, but it's always leading to something else. And that's a beautiful thing. You got so much to learn, and we all do, but we learn so much from you as well. So this is really more a thank you to you guys than anything else. Sorry to go on like that. I just was moved to say that. Evolution's the name of the game, and we appreciate you doing that. Hey, Matt, I saw that you were on here, and I don't know if you just disappeared or not.
I'm here.
Oh, you're here?
Yep, I'm here.
Yeah, I just wonder if you were here, and we usually give you a chance to chime in. Roger said he was getting started. I want you to make sure you make Roger into a superstar. Roger's one of our oldest buddies, and like he said, he doesn't like to do the dolling for dollars piece of this, and that's what you're here for. But you got any words of wisdom for the day?
No, I mean, just the biggest thing is staying consistent. I just got news from one of our clients that they believe they're going to be taking a listing from us in Tennessee. So excited about that. And I love the content element as well. That makes a world of difference in staying in front of folks and then having the calling paired with it. and then the letters and the door knocking is brilliant. There are a lot of people that are afraid to knock doors. So, I mean, kudos to Bernie on that. That's great that he's going out and getting after it. So yeah, all good
It's
stuff.
also pretty cool that, you know, you work with a lot of people and a lot of our customers. And the value of that is that not only do you work with them, but you get excited about them individually and you know who they are. And it's a very personalized approach. And that's a lot of what we are as well. I hope we don't ever get to the point where, you know, people are numbers and they get treated that way. We don't operate that way and kind of never have. We try to make sure we customize what we do for everybody. Everybody's different, you know, and we're not a let's go make one size fit all and sell all we can sell. We want to make sure that we do a great quality job for the people that we work with. Jimbo,
Tim, kind of a tie-in to what you're talking about. I was going to make a comment before you're talking about evolution. Winston, I was going to say you're not noticing any cultural change going from California to Alabama, are you? I mean, maybe grow your beard a little bit longer. Maybe that'll help. I'm just kidding. But Matt, I'm sure, and you mentioned Tennessee. I mean, you make calls for people in New York City, California, Tennessee. One thing that is always has impressed us the time we've been working with you is your, like Tim just said, it's not a one size fits all. I'm sure your calls are a little. I know everybody with your company is named Alex, which is really smart. But
Yep.
whichever Alex is calling, I'm assuming you're learning to adapt it to who you're talking to. It's going to be a little bit different approach in California than it's going to be in Alabama. So I don't know if you want to say anything about that.
No, actually, yeah, I want to give kind of a shout out to Aline because she when I reached out to her, we were talking about how to adjust the approach for individuals in New Jersey. You know, because New Jersey and New York are very sharp, to the point, like get to it, be brief, be bright, be gone, or else I'm going to hang up on you. That's usually what we experience in those areas. And so what I found was that by just altering up the approach a little bit, being a little bit more direct in some markets, other markets kind of use the, oh, shucks, not even sure if I got the right person approach. It really does make a difference. And yes, that's the term New York minute. Yeah, very true. You got a very short period of time to keep their attention. So yeah, shout out to her and the help that she gave to us, and it's helped us in other markets as well.
Yep. I mean, it's always adaptive. You know, just like when Roger was saying, you know, take a look at my website and do that. Well, you know, that's something we've done before. And, you know, we're always happy to do things like that and to see what has evolved since the last time. It's like, you know, visiting an old friend. We do know what's been done before and what went before and what we can do to make it better and how we can work together. And customizing the mailings for people is, you know, the job of an entire team of people in our company. We have a staff that does that. We have a group of folks who are dedicated to be marketing implementation people, and they do a great job of doing that. And the same thing with all of our folks. We're here to customize everything we do for you. And I know this sounds like the All the Leads commercial for the day, and it is. We're here to make a living, and you know, we got to get paid, pay the bills, but we earn it real well. We work real hard to make sure that we earn it. And I think that's something that you ought to know, that if you're a subscriber, you get a lot more than just here's a bunch of leads, good luck, and pat you on the back and send you out the door. We're here to help you, and we help you as long as we can and as long as you'll let us. And the longer you're with us, the more successful you're going to be. It's a building process.
And Tim, I'd just add, I mean, anybody can come here and take advantage of this. If you're a subscriber, you'll also get the regular coaching calls from one of our coaches, which is really individualizing it to another degree. So, you know, we choose to kind of deliver what was Chad's old saying, provide value first. And that's kind of always been our approach. And it works for us most of the time. And, you know, but you do get a lot extra for being the subscriber in addition to all of this. So if you haven't, you know, if you're holding off or you think, you know, this would be a good time to get started and, you know, try it, benefit even to a higher degree from the individual coaching calls, and come back here and tell us your success. That was my commercial to your commercial.
Well, I think that's a good one. And Jimmy, it's really, it's that time, man. We're at the top of the hour, and unless anybody else has any other hand raising, quick questions you'd like to ask or observations, we're going to call it a day.
All right, it's a day. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today. Great participation. And I think it's safe to say, I think Bernie's our winner of the week. I didn't hear any other specific. If there's a second one, let me know. But I want to thank particular Bernie, Patty, Winston, Bill, Sheriff Patrick, Roger, Alyssa, and Matt for actively participating. And I want to challenge each of you, like we did today, try one thing. And like a lot of people did today, come back next week and share the results with the group. Thank you, everybody. Same time next Thursday. Take care.